mom gave me three topics, particularly the topics for technology and analytics. So, well, basically that's my forte. I'm doing analytics, and of course, I'm doing also some parts of the IT. So, I'm also teaching analytics for AIS, no, for accounting information systems, and of course, professional school. So, these are quite heavy. So I've used this different items here. So and then I've got the topics, and it's quite full, no. And then so we have information systems. So we have data governance, we have data analytics, and then we have visualization. From base of my research, it's only 15% of the exams, which is only comprises 15 points. So, but the topics are quite
Broad.
very broad, yeah, and then very comprehensive. No? So, I hope I can give I can give all of the items, no, and then some of the items I have some points to look into, no, and then most of the items were actually from the topics here, no, and then I've used also different review topics, which is from different sources, and then I've merged it, no, from based from the uh, competency framework. So yeah, so that's it, no? So that's my methods in creating the topics. So without further ado, we'll start with the first topic, which is information systems. So the session will be divided into four parts. But the first part, it's quite heavy. There's a lot of items here. Probably we'll try to I divide this one into three parts. So at the middle, probably I'll take breaks, no, and then hopefully we can have a lot of items to cover, no, and then the mechanics would be I'll give lecture, and then I'll give some questions if you, and then I want to siguro pick somebody else to discuss items also, and then uh, we have some items also for videos. So I'll be giving you so that it will not be monotonous for discussion. So I'll give the links to be able to look for videos now. So um for specific topic. So that's it, no. So for the questions, if you have questions, you just write your questions for such topic, and then we'll try to go back to your questions after each subtopics na or sub modules, para hindi lang maputol yung yung discussions or yung lecture. Is that okay? Is that okay lang as mechanics for this afternoon session? Okay, so so please bear with me. So again, so we'll be having information systems. We have three items. We have three main items for information systems. Number one is looking into different information systems and what is the benefits for the organization. Second is we're looking into information systems and how will be made information systems, particularly with requirements and planning, which is you as analysts someday, as professional analysts for information systems and for processes, which is very beneficial. And for the exam also, that will look into what are needed requirements for the certain aspect of the organization. So we'll be having a basic software development, which is we only get the planning and analysis phase. So that's the second one. And then the third one would be AIS, would be Accounting Information Systems. I think you're familiar also with this one because you are doing NetSuite, I think, with the Oracle. So it's a quick review, particularly on the tools and the processes and the different processes for different cycles. So yeah, and then we put choke points, or we put uh, checkpoints for every topic, for these three topics for this information systems. Okay, so we'll start with the first one. So the importance of information systems. So we don't define information systems anymore because it's quite common what's information systems all about. But basically, the main importance here is to be able to have good decision making, and we facilitate data collection and analysis and reporting, which is part of the data collection would be the subtopic for data governance. Um, we use information systems to be able to get insights, no, to be able to get information and for decision making. Second is another one is to efficiency, no, efficiency over different operations of the organization. So and then lastly is basically for communications, no? So that's uh that's the third and the last one, importance for information systems. There will be a lot of importance, but it depends on the use cases for information systems, but these are the basic importance for information systems. Also, it covers for information systems are very broad topics regarding the components. So you have hardware, you have software, we have data, we have people and processes. And all of these are scattered to different topics, like you have to be able to know what are different hardware, to be of course difference between softwares or applications, and of course data, which is we'll be discussing data in a while for data governance and database modeling. And then peopleware, no, of course, what are human resources needed for information system. And particularly, we are really looking into different processes because we might be analysts someday, and we might be doing business resource planning and automation to be able to automate different processes. Well, part of the components we have network also, which is network is the connection between hardware and software. So, network might be infrastructure, meaning it's a hardware component, or it might be some of the security for networking would be for software applications. So different TCP/IP for different protocols. We have different softwares for network. So these are basic components. Some of the articles might have 8 different components. We have other components, but these are the basic. And as analysts, no, you should be able to gauge different items and to identify different hardware, software, data, processes, and people and network inside the information systems. So also, information systems would be able to look into efficiency. No? So one of the main objective as analysts is to be able to validate the effectiveness of information systems because it really equates the importance of the information systems effectiveness. And two main evaluations to look into: we have relative and then we have absolute. More or less, relative might be quantitative in nature, while absolute might be qualitative in nature. So, uh, there would be a lot of metrics or measurements for absolute evaluations, like looking into operational effectiveness, no? So ease of work, frequency of work, nature of work, ease of work, and user satisfaction. So there would be a lot of measurements, no? Also, there would be effectiveness over hardware and software. So, and then of course, interdependencies of different components. And of course, as analysts, also you'll be able to look into TCO, or total cost of ownership, to be able to engage economic benefits of the organization. So the idea for economic effectiveness is that the benefits, the usage of systems benefits should be equated, not sorry, it's not equated, but more than the cost. So example, if you're looking into like automating your store, or no, or automating automating a merchandising system, no, and then you're doing POS or point of sales, no. So what are economic feasibility to that, not for the benefits. So you might connect like it will increase sales due to what there would be more people to cater, faster sales transactions. You'll not be going to the back door to look for the inventory, so that because if you have a POS software or point of sales, you can actually see the inventory. So in that case, you might put monetary value to that, no? So it might be double the sales value for a year, no? So or a month, no? So that particular cost might include that there would be increase over sales times two, times three, due to increase of customer satisfaction perhaps. So you might look into effectiveness of information systems due to monetary costs, and this is very important, no, during planning phase. If you're doing planning for information systems, okay. So also relative evaluations, you might look into how tasks would be accomplished and how quality of working life, no? So looking into productivity, looking into social improvements, looking into health improvements, no? So if we have new systems, is the health of the people, no, or the users, no? So looking into HEI or human computer interactions, or looking into the effectiveness of putting the screens, no, or how big the screens, how small the screens, how about the keyboard, no? So looking into that, no? So looking into process centric measurements and traceability over time, no? So if you try to look into task accomplishment, it really boils down to process oriented metrics that would equate that functional requirements of the systems is equated to ano no to from the requirement specification that is equated to process. Well, process is actually equated to vision, missions, or objective of the organization. So if you try to have the three three slides now, looking into how effective the information systems and how important the information systems, and looking into these different components, you might look into equating the effectiveness or doing measurements of information systems. Okay. Okay, so from effectiveness, we might look into different types, no? Because different types would have different components also. So first example is a TPS, no? So TPS is we record transactions, no? We record informations about different transactions. These are multiple, no? Huge transactions, no? Every time. So example, POS machines or point of sales or ATM. So doing withdrawals, doing deposits, doing inquiry balance. No? So how about sa school? What are typical TPS sa school? Can you write your answer sa chat? Ano kaya yung TPS sa school? Hmm? Anybody? Hello? Hello? How about Clint? Clint, ano kaya ang POS sa school? Hello, Clint? Uh, how about Kyla? Hello? Parang wala akong kausap. Anyway, uh, how about Josh? Josh,
Yes, yes
what
po, sir.
what would be some example of transaction-based systems or TPS systems for academic?
Um, for school, sir, I think it would be the cashier.
Yeah, very
The
good,
use
no?
of cashiering services for our tuition fees and other fees.
Very good, no? So, cashiering, no, ang tawag niyo sa UM is you have a lot of transactions for cashier, no, depending on a particular date or particular week, no? So every 2 weeks my ano no, my exam, so you need to have no. So yeah, so cashiering basically is ano na example of a TPS. Well, enrollment system is part of a TPS because every enrollment, yes, yes, mom, no. So enrollment system is a TPS systems that would record different ano na, different yes, not different transactions for the organization. We call it the bread and butter, no, the bread and butter of the organization, because most of the TPS systems basically what basically for basically for huge amount of transactions that would cater the bread and butter of the organization. So example yung kanina kay mom is enrollment system, because if you don't have enrollment system, so paano mabuhay yung academic, no, academic institutions. So we have a different kinds of transaction processing systems, which is use cases for business. So we have for debit card applications. So we have applications, we have collections, no? And then we have credit card applications like looking into a customer statement, creating customer statement, processing of credit cards, no? And then looking into loans processing. So looking into claims processing, clearing statement, check processing, looking into adding AR accounts receivables, no? And of course, account processing. So there would be a lot of TPS solutions for business use cases. Next one is management. Management information systems. So from the TPS, we have from the TPS we need to capture a lot of information, no? So which is we call it MIS, or management information systems. Sometimes we call it reporting systems because it produce report, no, for planning and control. So example, we have particular components and different processes for data collection and report generation. The MIS would create reports, no. So, sabi nga nila yung MIS is basically getting data or getting information and insights from TPS. So, they say that the TPS should have a good process for what for validity of data, to be able to capture good information or good reports for MIS, no, for management information systems. The next kind of information systems would have DSS or KBS. We call it a decision support or knowledge based systems. No? So sometimes we call it what if systems. No, so we have decision making for I don't know, for particular scenarios, and decision support and knowledge based systems would require a lot of data. No, sometimes we call it big data. No, to be able to give decision making. So example here in the picture, we have a lot of uh, data from crop environment, no? Like plant, pest, disease, water, and soil, and it will be uh, loaded into the database. Now you have expert knowledge. No? Sometimes it's divided into two. No, expert knowledge for like human knowledge, or it might be an AI knowledge. No, and then we have models. Models are basically artificial intelligent models or data science models, and it goes to interpretation and advice for decision making, to be able to again what are actions for planting or what. So another example here, we have how weather forecast and warning produce. No? So based on the gathered data, from different old data, now from satellite data, from hardware radar data. It processed to supercomputers. You have an expert or meteorologist to develop forecasts, and we have a real-time forecast or warning delivery for the public. So these are example of decision support. No? So you might look into different use cases for organization, for business cases, but we'll be having that later in the data analysis. So I was part of the tracer before for national, but I'm having the data for region 11. So the decision making were actually from different data, no, from different data sources, like how to be able to say that it's low, moderate, or high, and it's basically based on the occupancy of the beds, no. So these are just an example for bed capacity as part of the data. So we also have this screenshot for classification. So from the expert and from the data, we can put on different cases, and that cases would equate to different risk classification. So these are just an example of from the COVID time, no, to be able to say what's the classification for a particular region. So another example of information systems are enterprise application, which is a part of the exam is the students or the examinees should be able to understand different uh, parts or different components for the enterprise application. And enterprise application is basically a combination of TPS, MIS, and KBS. No? So if you try to look into different aspects of ERP, there would be supply chain management, there would be financial management, there would be manufacturing, IoT, project management, CRM for customer relation, human resource, asset management, sales and marketing. Now, since these are different processes, but also we also have big data and BI or business intelligence or the visualizations, and of course IoT. No, these are new ventures for ERP systems. But of course, ERP systems are integrated based on the business process. No? So the business process would include, if you try to recall, AIS or for accounting information systems. For NetSuite, it's divided into different modules like for sales, for purchasing, for conversion cycle, for payroll, etc., etc. And these are just basic example for ERP systems. And these are the main players, no, for ERPs. Like I think you got undergo NetSuite for Oracle, and then you have Microsoft Dynamics. You have SAP Business One. I think SAP Business One was actually purchased before by siguro like 5 years or 6 years ago. No, I don't know. And then you have Odoo for ERP for enterprise resource planning. So these are just quite examples for ERP systems. And another example would be communication support systems. So these are systems to facilitate communications, no? And of course, office support systems, or sometimes you call it office suites, no, or that use for office applications. Okay. So the main idea is to be able to understand different information systems and how information systems would be used for a particular use case or particular business scenario. So from the idea of different information systems, these different information systems would have shared different data. No? So you might have transaction data, no? And then documents, and then of course data or insights for economic and competitive data. No? And all of these are shared by all of the information systems. So we'll be going to data later, no? How data is very useful, and data will be have we have cycles for data governance. No? Okay. So that's it. No, that's the connection of different data and sorry, the different information systems in terms of data. Okay. So from information systems, we go to emerging technologies. No? So emerging technologies as part of the exam is yeah, the students should be able to demonstrate the and understand the potential applications for emerging technologies. So example, you have cloud computing, you have blockchain, robotics processing automation, and artificial intelligence. So we'll try to look into these different items, no? Dahan-dahan lang. And then I'll give later some of the links, no? To break the monotonous of some of the items or some of these emerging technologies. Okay, so sorry. So we'll have first the cloud computing. So cloud computing is basically using cloud, no? Using cloud to deliver computing services. No? So it includes a lot. No? It depends on different types of cloud computing. So it includes hardware, servers. You can have storage, databases. Storage would be like infrastructure, networking capabilities, software, analytics, intelligence, and part of it would be looking into data also. And it's a faster innovation because most of our data are actually cloud based, no? And it might be flexible resources because it's shared resources, particularly with hardware components. So the organization will not have an infrastructure, physical infrastructure at the local level, but rather the servers are actually sa cloud, no, or nasa different servers, no. um so these are three main players now for cloud computing. So we have a cloud, Google Cloud, you have AWS, we have IBM Cloud. And if you try to go to basic cloud for Google, like Google Suites, like you're doing emails, you're doing what, sharing documents, we are doing what, uh, uh, training now using Google services. It's actually part of cloud computing. No? So it's basically having that technology in the cloud. And we have three types of cloud, no, systems like SAS, we have IaaS, and we have PaaS. And these three main types of cloud computing would have different services and different infrastructures. No? So let me give an example of a video. No? So uh, to break the monotonous, please check on the video. Sorry, where is my there? Sige. Can you check on the video? So that's it. No? So you have different types of cloud computing technologies, and these different types of cloud computing technologies would have also different infrastructures and different requirements and different hardware components and software components. Okay. Okay, so another emerging technology would be blockchain. So blockchain technology actually started with the concept of Bitcoin or bit currency. But it's not actually equated talaga doon. No? So the blockchain technology is a method of recording information, and that makes it impossible or difficult for the systems to be changed, hacked, or manipulated. Meaning, the idea here is that it equates to different models or different data from the block, and it it shares different data to different blocks. So the idea here is quite similar with the term distributed ledger, meaning it duplicates and distributes transactions across the network of computers participating in the blockchain. So these different transactions for different components. No? So to give you an example of a use case, no? So example, you're doing online sales, no? So in doing online sales, the blockchain would have different departments, no? So the sales data, the sales order would have duplicate to shipping department, no? Which is the shipping department is outside on the organization, physical, no? And then you have from the accounts receivable, and then for the general ledgers departments. And this different data will be distributed along different departments. Now, and then after such transaction, they will merge the data to be able to validate, no, the chain. No? So we have different blockchains use cases. No? So we have retail, we have services, no? You have healthcare, insurance, because this is very important. For one of the importance here is that keeping different records of the profile. So example, also use cases for digital currency, because the validity over different accounts, no, for different uh, part of the blockchain for the different currency, no. Also for securities, no. So different information will be saved or will be shared to different stakeholders, and that they will merge the data to be able to validate the correct information. So this is basic how blockchain works. So there's a transaction, and then there's a block that represents the transaction. It will be shared to different networks, that part of the block. And then from that, it will validate that the block or the data is correct. And then they will merge the information to be able to correct the blockchain information. Okay, so that's the example of blockchain. No? So sige, to give you some feeds for video for blockchain, let me share. Uh, Sandali lang. Sorry. So uh this is 6 minutes video, but we can cut this one. Sandali lang, ha? Where is that? So this is, you click on the link, and then we'll try to have at least yung 3 minutes of the video. So this is blockchain. So how blockchain does work. So that's the basic idea of a blockchain. So, meaning how do we share different information to different parts of the block and different parts of the network, and of course, the blocks would have validity over the information. Okay, if there's a tampered information. Okay, so the next emerging technology would be IoT, which is it's not new to you because your your cell phone or your smartwatch are actually IoT, no? So it's a network of physical devices with embedded sensors and softwares for connectivity. So some of the use cases were actually found again in the wearables, no? So you have a wearable electronic band, ring, earphones, so glucose to monitor glucose. Now you have shoe insole for chip-on sensors for balance, wristbands for ECG, heart rate, etc. You also control no smart homes control using your smartphones. No? So these are IoT devices. So IoT devices started with embedded systems, meaning computers were embedded hardware, and it evolves into smart using smartphones and smart gadgets. Okay, so some of the use case were actually connected with smart cities, and smart cities are actually uh, the basis for the basis for smart cities are IoT devices. No, so you might look into different use cases like looking into sustainability for energy management. No, so how the or how the building or how certain organization will lower its costs for energy usage, like water management, like camera to check on the marine life, no, or checking for sustainability over marine life, no, checking into climate change or flood modeling, no. So you have IoT devices to check on the levels of flood or smart lighting, no. So we'll explain that later in the few slides, like doing sensors or predicted lift maintenance, no, to be able to have analysis over sensors for lifting, for predicting breakouts, and of course, traffic monitoring, which is we use video analytics to be able to detect traffic jams, accident, and to control to control signals or to control traffic lights. So, how do we able to have that IoT and smart cities? So you have wireless communications over sensors. No, part would be data from sensors. No, camera or different sensors. It will have cloud-based no communication. It will do analysis. It will do machine learning or AI applications for model, and it will have intelligent traffic management systems, no? And then it will be adapted to particular smart wearables or smart devices, no? So it's all integrated, no? So it's part of emerging technology from IoT for Internet of Things to smart cities or smart communications, no? So I've said earlier, like smart sensors, no, or lighting. So may mga communications then, and then there's sensors over kailan mag ano no mag tawag nito mag light kung meron lang motion detection. So it will decrease the efficiency of sorry, it will decrease um, of course tawag nito electric consumption, and it will do efficiency over the hardware component of the lamps, no. So so we have use cases for people also, like for smart homes, for elderly monitoring, security over camera that would detect drowning, example, facial recognitions, no, smoke detections, and smart CCTV that will facilitate counting intrusions, no, object left unattended, etc. So there would be a lot of use cases. So same thing with parking, no. So there would be sensors over parking, which is it will decrease traffic because the efficiency over sensors over different parts, no. So hindi na paikot-ikot yung vehicle, it will decrease traffic and to minimize the cost for fuel consumption also. So these are some benefits for IoT, no. So as examiner, you should be able to understand this IoT and smart devices and smart cities or smart technologies. So to know more, you have a lot of items here, but sige, on your free time, you can click this one, no? So for emerging technologies for IoT and smart cities. Okay, so there would be a lot of techniques because you'll be having IoT will have sensors to collect data. There would be data analysis and integration with communication channels. And of course, different strategies would have delivery and data driven target and of course automation. So there's a lot of different methods also, like device integration, because we integrate different devices and different hardwares like sensors down to communication lines, and then of course to digital devices. And of course, how do we manage data? And of course, lastly would be insights, part of analytics. But of course, one of the merging technologies is this would be a lot of challenges, and more or less, most of the emerging technologies would have these three items, no, for challenges. Number one would be privacy and security, no. So IoT devices would collect and transmit vast amount of data, and the rising concern over security breaches and privacy concerns, no. So there's a lot of things having into sharing of data from different sources, no? Also, another issue would be interoperability and standardization. So we have different devices, different proprietary softwares, different proprietary devices now that should work seamlessly. But of course, there would be a lot of protocols like communication protocols that would connect different communication down to the hardware component, no? So they would be developing over standards protocol, no, and integration and interoperability of different devices. And of course, last would be ethical implication, no? So basically, how do we give consent, no? So pwede bang ika-capture ka lang ng CCTV tapos i-share yung mukha mo na tapos pag-share sa ano ka pala, no, part ka pala ng ano, no, ng tawag nito, uh, wanted list. So another is looking on the data, no. So how data will be owned by different organizations or different departments, no. And of course, looking into surveillance, no. So sino namang gusto ano, no, well, basically ayaw kayo nga sa, no, hindi niyo gusto na sabihan kayo ng parents niyo kung saan kayo, no. So paano pa kaya if we have this technology over surveillance, no? So there would be a lot of challenges for different data components also or data driven technology. So we'll discuss more on that in the data analysis. Okay, another emerging technology would be AI now. So AI would be demonstrated by computers as opposed to human or animal intelligence. But of course, the intelligence should be part of the model of human interaction or human brain. So it's basically based on machine learning algorithm or data science. And some examples would have this one, no, customer customer service. So chatbots are example of AI technology. No, hiring decisions, like marketing, like social network optimizations, or like in social media, no. So ang makita mo na ads, yun lang din ang gusto mo, no? Example, mahilig ka magluto, so more or less yung feed sa'yo ng Twitter or feed sa'yo ng Facebook would have mga food din, no? So kung mahilig kayo ng fashion, halos yun din ang ano, no? So it's the work of AI technology in which there would be blind spot over a particular user, no? So yun lang yung makikita niya, no? So that's part of marketing and of course sales, and of course cybersecurity. So there would be use cases for fraud detections for AI, no? So kung merong mga transactions, so malalaman ka agad, no? So if you try to recall yung biggest na fraud, no, yung transactions from Malaysia ba yun, no, na pumasok sa Philippines and then lumabas na naman. So that's basically fraud that was actually AI, no, that would detect fraud for the the transfer of funds, no? So these are part of AI technologies. And there would be a lot of artificial intelligence that is basically rooted for machine learning and deep learning, no? uh, uh, so healthcare, you have finance, no? So fraud detection, payment with face, trader oversights, no? And insurance, no? Insurance claim, kung tama ba yung insurance, no? Tama, may fraud ba yung claimants or yung mga documents, no? So in retail, you have robots for warehouses. Um, there would be inventory optimization, no? So ano lang yung dapat ang nasa inventory, no? So hindi pwede mag-over inventory ka, no? And then there would be a lot, no, use cases like in transportation, in marketing. So sabi nga nila, smarter targeted advertising, yun nga, no? So part of that would be kung ano lang yung gusto mo sa makikita, yun lang din makita mo, no? So that's a target advertising that's looking into optimization search, no, for a particular user. So there would be personalization. So, and then of course automation and of course security. So part of the artificial intelligence would have different items, no, like classical AI, so rule-based, depth search for algorithms, and machine learning. No? So machine learning would have SVM, decision support, logistic regression. So we'll be talking this one in a while, no? Some of the items here. And of course, deep learning, so neural network, which is the idea is connected with the brain neurons. Well, the concept of deep learning or neural net would be the concept of neurons over the net, over the brains, no? And that's part of deep learning. So, meaning the artificial intelligence really learn, no? Learn from the experience or from the data. So that's the realm of artificial intelligence. So if you try to go over with different machine learning, so or you have different machine learnings, like you have deep learning, you have unsupervised, supervised. We'll try to take that one later sa data analytics. Then also there would be expert systems, no, like speech. We have neural language processing. So these are just part of the entire artificial intelligence. But the idea here is that these are different items to look into, no? Machine learning, neural networks, neural language, you have expert systems, you have robotics, and part of that would be the component of the AI. No? So that's emerging technologies. No? So we discuss a lot of items here, like so we started with with cloud computing, we have blockchain, no? So we have Internet of Things, and then we have smart cities or smart computing. So smart computing or smart its basis for IoT or Internet of Things. And all of these are basically cloud, no? So they are working in the cloud. And lastly, we have AI, no? So AI basically the basis for the AI is machine learning and of course uh, data science or deep learning. Okay, so that's just it's just the one third of the first module. So the student should be able to define, no, or the examiner should be able to define and identify different IS or technologies and propose to organizations appropriate and suitable IS solution. That's basically looking into, if you have this use case, if you have this particular case, what would be a good solution? What would be alternative solutions? So be able to recognize different technologies for business, finance, and financial and management and accounting use cases to be able to again, no, to propose different emerging technologies for such particular use case or particular scenario in the organization. So, do we need to have this? Do we need to have fraud detections for particular claimants? No? So these are part of the questions. No? But of course, you should be able to discuss challenges and security and privacy issues for these different technologies. No? Looking into data security, looking into particularly on data security, no? And of course, infrastructure security, network security. Okay, so from the first part, we'll be able to understand the information systems development because we'll be having to get basic processes that will be part of the requirements and analysis, and what are different tools for modeling, and of course, database modeling, which is part of your exam. Not to be able to understand these different tools, no, or different modeling tools for requirements and planning. And of course, we'll be having AIS. Uh, Siguro we'll just look into different cycles and to be able to recall these different cycles and alternative solutions for accounting information systems cycle. Okay. So it's just this is just one third. Are we still good? Okay lang mag-continue tayo? Okay lang. I hope you're okay. Sige. So the next part would be on system development because we connect system development for a particular information system. And the main objective for the exam is to document business requirements for information system design. So you'll be having SDLC or software development lifecycle. We have agile technology or agile methodology and other development methods for system development. We'll be looking into flow charts, use case diagrams, and data flow diagrams as a tool, no, for part of the requirements modeling. And lastly, you'll be looking into solutions, no, to implement different alternative solutions, no, or information or IS alternative solutions for particular requirements. So a quick overview, again, we connect this software development to information systems because information systems are critical for the success of your business organization. And we do constantly do competitive advancement, and basically it connects to how information system is well competitive to other organizations. And of course, information systems would be the impact for productivity and profit. No? So they say that if your information system is one of your big asset, and of course it's costly, it should be have productivity over your products and services, and of course increase profit. So to be able to have competitive information system is to be able to have good system development or good planning and analysis, no? through analysis and design. Because through analysis and design, or system analysis and design, you'll understand what the requirements of the business requires. So this is actually the connection between software development and information systems. And for software development, we have two main items now: analysis and design. When you say analysis, it's a detailed perspective of the requirement specification. Sometimes we call it logical because it's more on models, while design is the physical, no, implementation. So this is where we do coding, we do UI, or user UX design, or user experience design, or user interface design, which is the physical of your information system. So the software development cycle would have this six main phase, sometimes five. So we have planning, analysis, design, implementation, testing, and maintenance or support. But of course, the main item for us is to be able to do plan and analyze the requirements of the organization. So some of the methods for software development would be RAD, or rapid application development, and the waterfall. This is the basic, no, this is the old version, no. So we don't have this anymore, a pure waterfall, but we do iterative process. Sometimes we call it scrum, or we call it agile technology development, because we do planning, and then the planning phase or the analysis design would be here, to implementation, down to deployment. So paulit-ulit siya, no? Same thing with RAD. But in RAD, it's more on prototyping, more on physical. No? Kung ano makikita mo, yun na yung makita mo paulit-ulit. So again, the iterative process would have first the initial planning, and then the requirements, analysis and design, implementation, testing, evaluation would be what carried away in part of the iterative process. No? And we have different builds. No, we can say that we have build one, build two, and build three. From the requirements, we create three modules to be able to have in parallel, pwede parallel or pwede naman hindi, no, for these three main phases. So again, we just concentrate on the planning, analysis, and requirements modeling, because it involves the system requirements from what the information system is all about, or the information systems would do, no? Or the requirements. So this phase provides a visual and structured approach to document requirements, no? And ensures that all stakeholders have a clear understanding of functionality and constraints. No? So these phases would have these different tools, and that one of your part of the objective of the this examination phase is to be able to understand different tools, no, for such requirements and analysis and planning phase. So I think you're familiar with the flow chart. No? So flow chart describes the flow of processes inside a particular process, or particular module, or particular system process. So we have different items like uh, start and end. We have depicted arrows for different relationships, input, output, and of course the process. And you have the decision. So these are just basic symbols, and we can look into different processes here, no. Okay, and then other items. So we have other flowchart symbols. I think you don't need to memorize this, but the idea here is that there's a process over there would be symbols for flowchart to be able to depict processes of the system. Another tool would be data flow diagram. Data flow diagram, the term data flow is basically depicted data, the data flow of such process. And these are so, but in data flow diagrams, we only have four items, no, or four different elements. We have process, we have uh, arrows for data flow. We have data store, that's the logical storage, and you have the external entity or the sometimes stakeholders or users. So we have high level context diagram. It depicts one of the name of the subsystem, and depicted different external entities. And if you try to notice, these arrows were actually data. No? So example, from customers, it will give orders, and the order system will give object order rejected notice. It might produce invoice, and the customers would have payment. So all of these are actually data that is flowing inside the in the order system. If you break now the order system, you will have mid-level diagram zero. So if you try to notice, it depicted different processes. Now, from the order, it will fill order, it will create invoice, it will apply payment, and all of these are actually system process or system functionality, and depicted different data, no, within different functions. So if you go too detailed na naman, if you try to break this order fill order, you might have two process that would verify the order. It will prepare reject notice if there's problem with the order or the the account of the customer, and it will assemble the order. So again, DFDs would be depicted different data and process flow of the organization. Okay. So the next one is event table. Well, event table is not part of the objective of IMA. But the idea here is that the event table depicts use cases, and use cases are essentials for the exam, no, to be able to understand the activity of the system. No? So the event table depicted event, trigger, sources, response, and destination. And the main meat for the event table is to be able to understand the use cases or the activity. So these are just an example of the use case for customer support, in which the use cases were actually the the system process, no, or the functions of the system or the particular subsystem. And these use cases were actually uh, depicted by the use case description, use case diagram. So we have the user, and then we have the use case. Now, so the use case is from the event table here. So another use case example, this is two actors that are doing the process or the system process. So the system would have functions like look up item availability, it checks for new order and update order. So another use case example is all use case involving particular actor. So these are the system, again, system functions for a particular actor, the customer. So another example for this is subsystems for order entry. No? So this order entry would have five main functions, would have three main also actors that uses different system functions. So the the use cases are actually used for depicting different use system functions. And as analysts, just like you need to be able to understand the functions and write it use cases. So this example is it includes, no? So other use cases includes different processes, like in creating the new order, it includes checking up item availability, and of course checking up of new creating new order also checks for customer account validity, kung the customer credit limit is available or not, or exceeded or not. So these are items for process, no, or for data. No? So we have flow chart, we have data flow, we have event table and use cases for depicting the processes of the system. Well, the next main topic for modeling is databases. And one of the objective, or these are the objective in the competency, is that as analysts, you'll be able to demonstrate and understand the elements of relational databases or RDBMS, and to be able to understand different keys, no, or primary, secondary, foreign, etc. And of course, you should be able to design relational database table, or more or less understand the underlying table design. No? Okay, so we have relational databases. So relational databases are basically for databases that store and access data points to related tables. We call it relational because these are related tables for a particular context. So it based on the relational model, and it represents into tables. No? So example here, the order revolves connection between customers, products, and employee. So we haven't had the relationship in a, in a while. We'll have cardinalities, but the idea here is that the keys, no, the customer, the order is related to customer table, which is the customer table is the foreign key on the orders table because it's the PK, or the primary key customer ID, is connected to the orders. Another is the employee who transacted the order. The employee ID here would be the foreign key, no? Based on the PK, or the primary key of the employees table, which is the employee ID uniquely identifies the employee. Now, same thing with the product. No? In a particular order, you have product, which is the order is connected to the product from the order ID, which is the order ID is the foreign key because the product ID here is the PK. Okay. So we'll have different notations, and we'll have ER models, or relation entity relation diagrams. No? In ERD, we have cardinalities. No? I think you undergo also a data model from your ano, no, from your AIS, no? In which we have different cardinalities like one on one to many, zero one, zero one. No? So the minimum here is one, and the maximum is one. While here, yung malapit sa this symbol will have many, maximum, and then we have one. About here, zero is the minimum, while this one is the maximum many. So this notation is crow feet, while here, this is UML notation. So this is an example of ERD, no? Basic ERD, like a customer would have many or zero orders, or zero or many orders. But the order, we only have one customer. No? Hindi pwede ang isang order slip, maraming customer. No? Ang order, maraming order items. Ang order items nakakonect sa only one and only one order. So we can depict also that one to subsystem ERD. No? So again, customers would have many or zero orders, but the orders would have one and only one customers. While looking into the idea of the suppliers would have what, multiple shipment, no, many, sorry, you have many shipment, uh, or zero shipment. And of course, the shipment is connected to only one and only one supplier. The shipment would have many or one or many items, and the items might be included into many or zero shipment. Meaning, bakit zero siya? Because the item might be not shipped from that particular shipment ID, or particular shipment record. So these are just an example of depict for relationships, or we call it cardinalities. So this is the example. This is the uh, discussion. You might look into that one once you review. So from logical, we created stable database structure to be able to map that to physical. No? So from your relation tables, we can have shorthand notation. No? So from your table design, we can have employee. That's employee that's the employee name, or sorry, that's the employee table, and then it depicted four columns. Now you have employee ID, you have name, department name, and salary. Sometimes we call it underline for depiction of the PK, and broken underlines would be for foreign keys. No? So some of the notations would have like this. No? So the PK is particularly depicted here, no, by at the first part of the table design. So also here you have mapping of the fields, no, from the customer and then from the order. So the customer would have PK like customer ID, customer name, and customer address and customer postal code would have connected over the customer ID with the order ID here. No? So the order ID here would be the PK or the primary key, while the customer ID is the foreign key, which is so the idea here is we what we sorry the customer would have um in relation with the orders table in which the customer would have connected with the order. So the connection between the two is the customer ID, which is the foreign key. So same thing here, no? The order, order line, and product. So we say that in a particular order, there would be multiple items. No? So that's connected between the order ID and the product ID. So the product is the lookup between the order items. Now, so in an order line, or these are the items on the order, would have lookup to the product main product table. So in this case, it's a two primary keys. Sometimes we call it composite keys, which is from the product table and the order table. So this is just an example of equating the domain class or the logic design class to the physical design class. No? So we try to connect customers to orders and to order ID, to order items. So it depicted to the order entry the order entry UI. So here this is the customer. Now this is the customer would have an order. So this is the order. And then the order line would have this. No? So these are three items on the order line. We say that in a particular order, there would be customer. This is the customer details. And the order would have multiple items, one, two, three. So it depicted by the UML design, one asterisk many. No? So this is another notation to be able to understand the connection or the relationship between customer, order, and order item, which is actually connected with the physical design form. So that's it. So we have process model and data model for software development, which is that's part of the requirements definition. No? So also in the software development, you'll be able to select software or to be able to acquire not only design or develop in-house, but rather you also have selection process. No? Meaning you can get uh, purchase softwares from I don't know from developers or from like for example for cloud computing you can have that to acquire systems not only for in-house development. So the alternative is to be able to have evaluate the risks and the benefits versus acquiring for vendor a suitable system that is complete tested and proven, because of course in vendor uh, it undergoes a lot of tests to be able to uh, give that to market, no? And there should be feasibility study to document and support decision to acquire software. So the consideration is to be able to reduce costs and risks, to have benefits over total ownership, and control over new systems for becoming dependent on a vendor. So looking into data stewardship or data ownership, or what the entire application ownership, no. So if they try to look into acquisition, so looking into reliability of the vendor, looking into commitment to service, and of course commitment for training, technical support, and documentation. So also you might look into managing of contract, which is part of COBIT, and of course the involvement of you as IS auditors or analysts is to be able to check on security controls, no, data integrity, risk over inadequate audit trails, and looking into security controls, no, that builds into the software application. So in implementing alternatives, you might look into this one, no? So an ERP might be entire outsource, or you might buy, and some would be customized or built, no? And it might be developed in-house, small portion of the in-house, but some of it is outsourced, meaning sa labas, or the solutions were actually based sa developer, no? Facility management would be the infrastructure would be sa labas talaga, no? Kagaya ng cloud computing for servers, doon talaga sa labas, and it's buy and it's outsource. Turnkey and package solutions were off the rack, no? Yung makita mo na applications na nasa racks, no, or nasa market, no? So some would be outsource, build, and more or less 60% would be buy, and custom solutions might be 50% outsourced and 50% in-house. So you might look into different alternatives, no? Looking into software development, not only software development, but of course, different alternatives for solutions. So checkpoint for this part would be checking on system requirements, no? So to be able to understand the requirements of the organization, the requirements of the system. And that's part of being analysts and being auditors, no? As part of the exam. And to be able to understand and model different system processes and data models using different tools, no? Like flow chart, like ERDs for data model. For process model, we have data flow diagrams. We have no, so that's our different tools. And of course, the last checkpoint would be you be able to select methods and alternatives for development solution, not only development, but also, of course, alternative solutions. So basically, that's the that's the second part of the first part. So that's quite heavy again. No? So let me continue na lang to be able to have the break. No? So the last part of the first part are AIS. And I think you are very familiar with AIS because you're accounting majors and you do, I think, NetSuite, right? Tama ba ako? Sige daw, may I see your hands daw kung nakagamit ba kayo ng Oracle NetSuite? Good. Sino pa? Isa lang? O, or isa lang nakikinig? Ayan. Okay, sige. So, so the main objective for the exam is to be able to have exposure to data and in accounting information systems, and to demonstrate and understand the processes related to single module, no, in the financial systems. So to be able to understand different processes for the cycle is to be able to understand some ERP systems, and of course to be able to prepare basic flow chart with information from the stakeholders which is connected to different cycles, and to control and manage how data and when data enters to financial systems. So we'll try to connect it with your basic accounting not to be able to understand not to be able to understand how data works. Just a flow graph, no? It's uh, just a quick ano lang naman, a review. No? So, so again, AIS is composed of different cycles, particularly with five, actually six, but sometimes nakamerge yung iba, no? So it starts with the financial cycle in which there's investment, no? And then that's part of financial cycle. Reporting is part, actually. General ledger and reporting system are actually part of financial cycle. Then after that, it goes to expenditure, and then expenditure will have productions and revenue cycles or sales cycle, expenditure or purchasing cycle, and of course, human resource and payroll, which is part also with the expenditure cycle. Part of the production cycle would be cost accounting, which is asset management. So this is the revenue cycle. So we have sales order, we have receipts collection, we have billing and AR. No, we have uh, uh, shipping, and then baliktad ako. Ano ba? So it starts with the sales order, and then we have the sales order. We'll have credit verification or customer service of the order, shipping, and then we have billing and collection. Billing and AR, and then last would be collection or cash receipt. Sometimes cash receipts for partial payments would be part here now, the second one. So this is depicted by part of the sales order. If you try to notice, there's a lot of processes involved. So you have receive order, it checks for credit verification, it does pick goods, ship goods, checking for billing, no, checking for AR, update AR, and posting to ledgers, no, for JL and for inventory records. And there should be also looking into internal controls, no? So these control activities are actually the same for all of the cycles. So checking of transaction authorization, this is just example for sales order. And then we do segregate of duties, supervisions, you have accounting records, you have access and independent verification. And uh, this controls activities encompasses all different cycles. Also, you might go to purchasing systems. No? Purchasing systems or the expenditure system or expenditure cycle. No? So it checks, start with monitoring inventory records. It prepares PO. So if there's low level stock, there's PR. So there's PO. If there's a delivery from supplier, it goes to receive goods, it updates inventory records, it does AP, accounts receivable, because it's purchasing system, and it goes to the JL, no, for all of the items for the AP. So this is payment. This is part of uh, again purchasing cycle. So it does check for liabilities due. It prepares cash disbursement. It does for checking for AR and posting it to ledgers. No? So these are examples um, of flow charts, no, for AP, for connection between AP, cash disbursement, and general ledgers. And these are different internal controls also for I don't know, for purchasing. So same thing. There's authorization for transactions, segregation of duties, no, for supervisions, accounting records, access, and independent verification. So part of the per, part of the purchasing or expenditure would be payroll. No? So looking into WIP accounts or work in progress accounts, there's creating payroll. It does distribute paychecks. It prepares disbursement over the paycheck, and then preparing accounts receivable, because creating of payroll first would be creating of the register, and creating the register creates the AP. which is the AP is connected to the cash disbursement to be able to check on the different vouchers. No? So vouchers are part of auditing trails to be able to equate all the transactions. And of course, doing JL or general ledger. Fixed asset management is part of the conversion cycle, which is doing the depreciation. Before depreciation, it does creating the property, no, and then it does depreciation over time, and then after that, it will dispose, no, proper disposal of assets. So there would be authorization procedures to purchase. There's purchasing, and then there's receiving. There's accounts payables from the purchasing for the PO, and then disbursement, and then there's fixed accounting like doing what disperse different what different depreciation, and there would be authorizations for the disposal. No? So if you try to look into fraud here, there would be a lot of disposal kahit hindi pa kailangan i-dispose. So there would be fraud detection over asset disposal and asset maintenance. So conversion cycle refers to what in ano manufacturing firms. So it does management over resources of raw materials, labor, overheads, no, and physical subsystem would be production system and cost accounting system. So it connects to or expenditure and marketing, no, for the conversion cycle. Okay. So sa financial accounting naman or financial cycle, it does all source document, journal entry that are not part of the transaction, posting, no, trial balance, do financial statement and adjusting. So if you try to go back to different data from your manual accounting or from automated accounting, so from ledger, it does goes to different ledger accounts, example for total of the AP, and then that's actually connected with the trial balance. No? So you're very familiar with this one. Sorry, trial balance accounts receivable. So another example here is sales journal posting to different ledgers. No? So you have the sales journal here that's posted to different ledger accounts, AR and sales. No? And then it does from different subsidiary ledgers from these different accounts. Also, you have cash receipts, no? Cash receipts from general ledger and accounts receivable subsidiary ledgers. Purchase journal, no? So the idea here, or cash disbursement journal, the idea of the review is to be able to understand different data and different data flows from different ledger accounts and subsidiary ledgers, not two general ledgers. And that's the last one. No? So some questions is on the exams, what are or what accounting processes are in specific for AIS cycle. So example like doing sales, accounts receivable. So basically that's part of uh, sales cycle or revenue cycle. Like doing PO is creating PO is on the part of the expenditure cycle. So how accounting data now from the transaction processes flow and control to the financial cycle. So we try to go back with the scanned documents, the data flow going to the transaction down to subsidiary, and then from subsidiary going to the JL or general ledgers. And you'll be able to know different controls, no, per cycles, and to different use cases, no, different organization. So that's the last part of the first part. So it's time check. It's 6:46 already. So I think we need to have a break.
Okay, sir.
Is that okay, ma'am?
Yeah, of course. Of course, sir.
Quite full, but basically the three main modules, medyo hindi masyado siya full. But let's see later. Sige. So, mamaya, mga ilang minutes tayo?
Kayo po, how much do you need?
Pwede
15,
siguro
30,
like, sorry,
15, 30?
uh,
You need to eat?
we need to eat. Sige, pwede siguro. We need to eat, sige. Siguro we'll be back at 7 o'clock. Or is that okay? 13 minutes.
Okay.
Pwede naman siguro, ano lang, kumakain pag 7 o'clock pa rin.
Yes, sir.
Working dinner. Okay. Sige, so we'll pause and then we'll back 7 o'clock. Thank you.
Okay.
See. So we'll not close, ma'am, no? Okay, sige.
Diba?
Okay, so sorry, it's late tayo ng 2 minutes. But anyway, we'll be having the second topic. So it's data governance. We'll be having uh, there's a lot of items for data governance, but we will not go into details because some of the items here to look into are policies. But again, we'll not be going to policies, but the idea is there would be different policies for security purposes for different. We'll just have to look into these different frameworks. So again, this is the second domain sorry, this is the second subtopic for the domain technology and analytics. So we'll try to recall the components of information systems from the first subtopic, which is hardware, network, software, process, and people. And of course, one of the aspect is data, which is looking into how do we govern data. And we start doing the data by having different kinds of data. So, what are different kinds of data? These are two main examples of types of data. So we have structured and unstructured. When you say structured, which is we can display it with columns and rows and relational databases. So kanina, when we have the data model example, it's basically the relation. No? So it's a structured in which this would be components of different data like numbers, date, and strings. And it's estimated 20% of the enterprise data. It requires less storage because these are transactional data, and part of it would be data over reports. And these are easier to manage and to protect with legacy solutions or legacy systems. We say legacy systems, these are bank systems, which are old systems, but of course, bank systems are new today, but we call it legacy systems. Financial systems are legacy systems because they are uh, stayed in the process for longer years already. And these are very sophisticated security over data. When you say unstructured, these are cannot be displayed for rows, columns, and relational databases. And these data are examples like images, audio, video, word processing file, email, spreadsheets. And these are basically common nowadays. No? So because we are in the era of different types of data, no? And we call it, we say that it's 80% of the enterprise data because it consumes a lot of spaces. So video data, um, it's quite big, no, in terms of the size, no, in terms of the file size, and it's more difficult to manage and to protect with legacy solutions or legacy processes solutions. And we'll try to look into this structured and unstructured because it's depicted or it really revolves on how data privacy, data protection, data disposal, data archiving, or data operations, or we call it data governance, is all about, to be able to understand different kinds of data. So the use cases here is you have in this particular kind of data, what would be your disposal policy? What would be your security policy? So that's it. No? So that's the idea of having different kinds of data understanding. So these are also example of how do we do property over different structured and unstructured data. So looking into scalability, looking into flexibility, looking into storage. So we call it non-SQL databases for unstructured data. And we have technology and analysis. So in data also, before we go to the actual governance, we should be able to understand that data would have life cycle. The same with software development, data would have different stages. No? It starts with collection, no? Storage, processing, analysis, deployment, and archiving. But in some other literatures or some other processes, it goes with eight. No, so generation, we generate data; collection, now we process data; we store data; and then how do we manage? We analyze data. After analysis, we do visualize. Visualize is the last topic, no? And analysis, data analysis is the third topic later. And we have interpretation from the visualization. So these are the definition of different life cycles. So we say collection, so it's data creation, acquisition, and data entry. When you say storage, it's what type of data do you collect and to determine where should be stored. So the idea of cloud computing, uh, data management over cloud, privacy over cloud. So, is it good for physical storage, local servers, local infrastructure, or it can be good for cloud? So, how do we do processing? No? So, doing encryption, doing cleaning and transformation, doing compression techniques over processing data. And of course, it goes with data analysis. No, it provides insights, checking for trends and patterns. No, and then how do we deploy? No, so deployment, doing validation, sharing of data, using of data, and of course, archiving. No, so when data is no longer operational, and archiving is or disposal is one of the major operations for data, no? To be able to part of it would be security over all data, and of course saving spaces or storage spaces, so we'll discuss that later. So again, data lifecycle management would comprise of generation, collection, storage, processing, and then we do management over and part of analysis. No, and then part of it would be schedule backups and define user access levels, interpretation, no, representation of information and extraction of meaningful insights, and of course, destruction or archiving or disposal. So the idea of different governance framework is in this uh, COSO or Committee of Sponsoring Organization of the Tradeway Commission. The idea is there's a building blocks over data. No? So the idea of a framework is basically from the idea of different policies. So the idea of COSO framework is to build the building blocks for internal or integrated internal controls. So the idea of the framework is more on the controls. No? So looking into operation, reporting, and compliance. Sorry, by the way, it's basically the COSO framework is based on the cube. No, we call it COSO cube. So it visually summarize the pillars and components of the framework. No? So we have operations, reporting, and compliance. And from that, different cubes was also entity level, division, operating, and functions level. And from that, we have different items also here. No? Looking into control environment, risk, and assessment, control activities, information and communication, and monitoring activities. And part of the cube, which is information and communication, is the use of quality data and information to support the control objective, which is the main concern for the framework. Now we call it integrated internal controls. Okay. Sige. Wala akong video dyan, pero sige lang. We continue. So another framework is sa COBIT, no? So it's from ISACA, no? So it's the control objective for information and related technologies. They have also data governance that discusses the controls and the guidelines for information governance, security controls, and audit professionals. No? So we have two items on the COBIT, which is APO 14, which is doing data management, effective management of the organization data asset across the life cycle of data, the creation through delivery, maintenance, and archiving. Also, in AG07, it's focused on the security, privacy of information, and processing the infrastructure and application. So, COVID also have this, no? So it does all discussion on different policies and different um, processes over data governance. So this is the data governance maturity assessment over COVID, which is COVID really looking into the 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 audit, no, for data governance. Okay. So we have here the how auditing for managed data for COVID call core model. Okay. So another item for data governance is doing data quality management. So data quality management is the set of practice that aims at maintaining a high quality of information. So it's very essential because the data should be consistent, no, from analysis. There should be data quality, no, that is for actionable and more importantly for accurate insights, no, from information. So the functions for data quality would be extraction, profiling, how data is structured, what's the structure of the data, no? How do we evaluate, integrate, like integration would be cleaning, parsing, matching, standardization, reporting and repair, etc. So these are a lot of items for data quality management. And for data quality management, there's metrics, no, that would measure the quality over data. So there's ratio over data to errors, number of empty values, etc., etc. So we call it, if there's encompass all of these metrics or measurement, then we say that the data is in good quality. So we have a lot of dimensions over of quality, data quality dimensions like integrity, validity, accuracy, uniqueness, consistent, timeliness, uh, uh, concurrency, no, up to date and completeness, no, o walang null value. So these are different quality management over data, and there's a lot of uh, tools to be able to do data quality. So if you try to look into data quality, like uh, like example, merging of different sources or different sources of data. So dito papasok yung data quality, or yung data is from input source, no? So validity over input validations, tama ba, no? And nullness, etc., etc. So doon papasok yung data quality management. From data quality management, dito papasok din ang master data management. So we call it one of the solutions for doing data quality is doing MDM. So MDM, or master data management, is the technology enabled discipline, no, to ensure the uniformity, accuracy, stewardship, semantic consistency, and accountability of the enterprise shared master data. Why we call it master data? Master data is, we call it some profile data. So these are example of master data, meaning customers, sorry, location, we have suppliers, we have products. So these are master data in which master data should be very consistent. No? Dapat hindi siya nag-change halos. And but this master data is halos ginagamit from transactional. So all of this data should be consistent. So part of it would be looking into the quality of data because the data, master data, is used for different stakeholders and different users. So it involves creating a single master record for each person, place, or things in the business. So thing like product, inventory, person like customers or users, no, or suppliers across internal and external data sources and application. So example, this is two domains, no, like different SQLs, that data producing services and data product. No, so we put that in a master repository that is doing data integration services, and that would equate that to master data management service to produce master data products. Now, in some other idea for Azure is Microsoft ERP systems also, or data management systems for enterprise modeling. So we have this different sources like Dynamics 365, no, yung Microsoft Dynamics. We have SAP for business one example, or Salesforce, or other custom apps and cloud apps or legacy apps. And then we have different data from that, no. And Azure MDM would do this one, no? So it automates data discovery and classification. It defines common data standards. No, it do enforce standards over matching data, master data, validate, remediate, sync across, and all of this would have high quality of trusted data. So ganun siya, no? So the idea is to be able to merge, do quality data quality management over the over data, no? Over this pure data quality, missing and incomplete, duplicate and conflicting. So again, the data or master data management is actually connected with data quality because the main objective is to be able to what do consistent, no, to be able to do consistent over the data share, no. Okay. Okay, the next one is sige, before we go to security, let me share uh us a video, no. uh sandali. uh, sorry, sandali lang. uh, so this is a video for quality. Kindly browse the video for quality, data quality. So that's basically the some example, no? It's talking about missing, talking about referential integrity, talking about MDM. So these are basic operations for data management, data quality management. So to continue, one of the main functions for data quality for data governance is data security and protection. So looking into protecting the digital information from authorized access, corruption, or theft throughout the data lifecycle. So there would be a lot of strategies looking into risks and threats, and basically looking into data privacy and protection initiatives. So you should be able to know this. No? So there's an EU GDP, GDPR, and there's also California CCPA. So these are the basis for some of the regulatory data security policies or frameworks. Meron ding HIPAA, which is Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, that protects electronic health records. And meron ding Sarbanias Oakley Act, or SOC Act, or Protecting Stakeholders for Public Companies from Accounting Errors and Financial Frauds. So you can look into this one as part of the, you can a lot of discussion over the, I'll just share it later, yung mga YouTube channels also for discussing different initiatives, no, to go into details. But of course, we don't have time to discuss that. So looking into protection, there would be three main aspects for protections, like data security, data privacy, and traditional protection. So these are different activities, like doing traditional protection like backup, doing RAID or erasure coding, replication, doing policy over data retention, or um, physical infrastructure security, and archiving. Also, for data security, they would be looking into encryption, authentication, threat monitoring, access control, breach access and recovery, data loss preventions, and some privacy, looking into legislation, policy, best practices from different organizations. And then we have third party contracts, looking into third party, like for example, kung naka cloud, no, services. And of course, looking into the data governance of the organization and different global variations of this policy or frameworks. And you might look also different strategies for individual data protections, and looking strategies for business data protections. No? So same thing, looking into data backups, doing into firewalls, doing into password hygiene. They call it password hygiene because how password is correctly or uniquely processed or um, managed. There's security patches and updates, encryption, two-factor authentication. So these are different strategies, some of the strategies. So for business, you have access management or access rights. You have data erasures, data masking, no? Kung ano lang makita ng certain user, and ano lang yung pwede makita ng certain function. Data resilience also, kung may mangyari tawag nito fraud, or mangyari uh, may mangyari na pumasok na fraud or alarm sa systems or viruses, there should be over policies over or strategies over data resilience. So also part of the tawag nito, part of the data security is to be able to understand different attacks, no? So again, we don't have time to that, no, but these are just examples, no. So there would be insider threats, no, yung nasa loob lang ng organization ng nangongopya or ano lang no, naga-copy og files or nagapangawat og information. So there would be phishing or social engineering. There would be malware or viruses. There would be Trojan horses or unsecure devices, weak password, and cloud storage problems. So again, these are just examples of threat, and as examiners, you should be able to go back, no, go back to your ano, no, go back to your different threats, no. Yeah. So I'll give another data privacy security, no, YouTube link, no, to be able to understand more, no? So there's the link. It's just 4 minutes. So the video does discuss some details regarding uh, basic functions or basic strategies for data security, and discuss also three triads, now the triad of data security. So that's it, no? So part of the data management, data governance is doing besides data quality, you'll be looking into data security and privacy. Okay, so the next item for the major tawag nito, operations for data governance is doing retention and disposal. So again, retention and disposal is define why and how you store the data and how long, and then how you dispose it, how data will be disposed. So the policy uh, will be one of the crucial role, no, to enable regulatory compliance, legal defenses, and disaster recovery. So you try to look yung the last part last part of the video, may mga legal issues for certain companies, online companies, no, in terms of data security. So a part of data retention and disposal is to be able to discuss more on legal basis for to retain and to dispose, no, or to store. So the policy determines the data retention period and what happens after the retention expires, no. So how data will be archived or destroyed, and the destruction methods to be applied, no. So it will depend on the type of data. So we discussed earlier what type of data to be different disposal or different archiving, no, techniques for structured and semi-structured, no, or sorry, for structured data. And then what are retention laws, what are contractual contractual obligations, no? So example, kung ano siya, no, kung data over cloud, no, so what are different contractual obligations over retention and disposal, about sensitivity of data, no, and among other factors. So it really depends on different aspect of data. So we have four clear retention policy or data retention policy. So, benefits. So first is, of course, you have a cleaner and more accessible data. So easier to search because maliit na lang, and to create less confusion over the employees, no? Of course, it will reduce costs, no, in terms of storage costs, and of course, consolidated document storage, no. So digital business model shifting to digital document storage, no. So lastly is to improve disaster recovery. So one of the benefit is the provisions for backup and recovery for retention policy, no, for to protect mission critical information. So sabi nga doon sa security over data, no, there should be a good retention policy over to discuss on the backup and recovery of the mission critical information. So paano siya i-store, no, yung mga confidential data, paano siya i-share, paano siya i-archive. So yun yung idea for one of the benefits for data retention policy. Okay, so this is the third and the last, no. So number one, we do data quality management, and then we have looking into data privacy and security, and lastly, you should be able to do data retention and disposal, which is three of the main topics for data governance. And that's the last slide for the second subtopic for the domain, no? So to be able to know data policies and documenting procedures, no? And to be able to, these are competencies, no? To be able to understand data lifecycle, retention, archiving, and disposal, to understand the protection, no, and the security and privacy of data, and to identify and correct incomplete, inaccurate data, also the improvement of the process of the data governance. So before we end the second subtopic for data governance, let me share a quick view of uh, the introduction about to summarize data governance. No? So this is a YouTube na naman. So so in the chat there's a link, no, to follow uh, a quick overview of to summarize data governance. Just 3 or 4 minutes. So that summarized the data governance, not to be able to look into how the procedures, who the persons, or who the stakeholders all about, and then of course the policies, no, so of the data governance. So that ends the second part. um we can have a short break siguro, ma'am. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Sige, can we have very short lang, siguro mga 5 minutes lang.
5 minutes.
Ah,
Okay. Guys, Be back after 5.
5 minutes. Health break lang. CR break. Okay, so good evening again. So this is the third subtopic of the technology and analytics domain. So I hope you're still up. Sige daw, may I see your hands daw, be? Kung you're still, raise hand daw, be? Ayan. Good. You're still there. Okay, good. Sige. May heart-heart pa talaga. Parang malapit ng Valentine's Day. Hindi, estudyante ko yun, ah. Anyway, so the slide is quite barag heavy to moderate, so please bear with me. But tingnan natin sa, we'll just have a quick examples lang naman sa mga algo, no? But we'll not go into details sa mathematical, but we'll try to understand that we have this um, particular algorithms to be able to understand some analytics, no? Okay, so so we'll have first one of the uh, domain, or one of the competencies, is the examiner should be able to understand or to use Excel as analytical tool. And to be able to use Excel as analytical tool is to be able to understand the database concepts, no? Like the basic syntax for for functions, no? So we have equal sign followed by the function name followed by different arguments, no? We have sorting, filtering. These are basic operations for database operations. You have auto filter, you have advanced filter, and then you have database functions, no? So that's part of database operations, no? So should be able to know this, no, to be able to have analytical or reporting generations for Excel. Also, we should have basic statistical functions, no? uh, like uh, like mean, average, max, no, and so on and so forth. Okay, and then uh, we have also median mode, no, doing into different quartile. And then we have also undergo data analysis tools, no, from analysis tools from Excel, no. So these are some of that would be descriptive, no, descriptive statistics that you can get some of this on the descriptive statistics and correlations, linear regressions, no? So you can have that on the functions for statistical, no, different basic functions like average, count, mean, no, and then also you'll be able to have data analysis over data analysis tools like analysis tool pack, like correlations, descriptive statistics like ANOVA, no? So you can be able to understand all of this, no? And the main idea for the main idea for the exam is what specific function to be used for a particular use case, no? Yun ang halos makita ko sa mga questions, no? So for example, for this particular scenario, what would be good functions, or what would be good commands to be used in Excel, no, to be able to understand this particular insight, no? So yun yung halos mga questions. Okay. Also, one of the competencies is to be able to undergo SQL, knowledge of SQL, no? So I don't know if we have database management concepts for SQL. So SQL is used, no, to manage RDBMS. No? So this is for call it structured query language, of course, for structured data sets, no, which is structured between tables or RDBMS, no. So there are keywords, no, or commands for SQL like select, where, or select from, where, order by, no. So we have select. These are the columns, no, or fields from student table, no, student table, where so a particular course or particular score, no. And order by, or sorted by age, and limit for 100 rows, no. So connected to different mappings of different select statements and from other limits. No? So you have types of SQL commands. I think you don't know, you don't have to memorize this one, but the idea here is that there are four basic commands like data definition, like creating, truncate, alter, drop, rename, etc. And then manipulations like select, no, getting data, insert, update, delete, and then control like grant, revoke, and transaction control like commit, rollback, save, quit, etc. And other SQL commands will have aggregated functions, filtering, and combining data. So uh, you don't need to memorize this one if you're not from, you haven't had an SQL topic. But the idea here is that there's an SQL command to be able to manage our DBMS. Okay. So the main idea, let's try to go back with after doing data management over Excel and SQL, we also go back to the idea of data analysis is used for decision making. No? So the manager's responsibility is to make these three main decisions. We have strategic, we have tactical, and then we have operational. And these different decisions would have from a particular data or particular insights. No? So strategic will be connected to the overall goals, aspiration, uh, vision, mission of the organization. While tactical decisions is mid-level management concerned on how to achieve the goals and objectives set by the strategy from the strategic decisions. While operations decisions would be at the lower level for the operations manager on how to run the business from day to day or getting insights from day to day operations. And from here, we have common approach to have this, no? Traditional approach, intuition, rule of the thumb, wala na siguro intuition. Intuition siguro if the matagal na talaga yung ano na personnel. Rule of a thumb that is common to different organizations or scenario. And of course, for us as analysts and using data is to be able to use relevant data available. So dito papasok yung data analytics, which is the use of data to be able to understand insights and information. So, what are use cases for analytics? No? Example, these are loan applications, online shopping, and in the airline. So, questions like example, like how does the bank assess the riskiness of a loan it might make to you? No, so gaano ano ba yung risk kung ikaw mag-loan, no? Or isang client mag-loan. Another use case like looking into how Amazon.com know which books and other products to recommend to you when you log into their websites. No, so recommender system, which is part of analytics. And lastly, use case like airline online ticketing. No, so how do airline determines the price to quote to you when you are shopping for online tickets or for plane tickets? And all of these use cases are basically use analytics. No? Just example like in riskiness, uh, in the in the in the credit riskiness, you be able to have dashboard over the client. No? And from here, you have a lot of data, no? Like looking into social channels, no? Social interactions. You have debit and credit terms for predictions, behavior metrics, no? Insights for debts, no? And there would be insights sa taas, no? Looking into overdraft retails and basically looking into meron pala siyang loan, no? In this example, and likelihood to be overdraft for a particular date, no? So from this one, you can have what? You can have insights over the risk of loan, no? Loan management. Okay, a second use case is analytics is doing recommender systems is analytics, no? So example, if you're fun with ano no of love story, lapit na ang Valentine's Day. Or probably the customers would be looking into for this Marquez, no, for the author Marquez, kaya merong mga recommender, no. So the idea here is the data is from the customer purchase, no, which is the recommender for a particular search, book search, no, ganan. And then another use case is like different dates, different uh, different amount. No? So kagaya nito, January 2, 2016, 6,000. Pero sa January 2, 2016, different ba to? Sorry. June, sorry, 06 pala to. Sorry, sorry. This is, sorry, for June 6, no? Different. Bakit different yung price, no? So, merong analytics like revenue management that looking into past history, no? So, punuan ba siya na seat, no? On a particular weekday or weekends, or patterns, no? Patterns for the many many book for that particular or multiple bookings for that particular date, no? So they call it revenue management, which is part of analytics. So this use case are looking into the decision making, no? So the idea for analytics is looking for this decision to look for decisions, no? Or to gather decisions for a particular context or particular use case. So the tools for business analytics can aid decision by creating insights from data, improving the ability to more accurately forecast, no? Forecast for planning, for helping us quantify the risk. No? Example kanina yung riskiness of loans, no? And yield better alternatives through analysis and optimization. So these are some of the decisions for business analytics. And we define analytics or BI or business intelligence as extensive use of data, statistical and quantitative analysis, exploratory and predictive modeling, and fact-based management to derive decision. Why we call it fact-based? Because this is data-driven. No? So this is basically the definition, and it provides insights. No? So that's the bottom line to make better decision, and it's data driven. It's fact based. It's from history. It's past history, which often more objective than alternatives for decision making. And fortunately, data mining, analytical applications, and BI systems are now integrated to transactional systems because we need the data from the transactional systems to be able to have big data over history of data to be able to undergo the process for data mining and analytics. No? So if you try to look that one in the perspective of uh, infrastructure for IBM, no? So the business optimization, like doing customer and product profitability, you have financial risk insights, workforce optimization, no? Meaning it's an AI for HR management. You have dynamic supply chain or supply chain for AI, multiple channel marketing. All of these are for optimization. So the idea for better optimization outcome, it lies on here, no, at the towards at the end part of the infrastructure, which is the business intelligence and financial performance management, to be able to plan, understand, optimize business performance. And from that, the hardware component would be data warehousing, information integration, and lastly, the bottom line of the framework or the model is this different physical devices or physical storage like data management from transactional. You have content driven processes for content management, other sources for data, and from this, these are doing the flexible architecture to have the entire warehousing idea. So the concept here is that the data insights is really for business optimization. So ganun talaga yung connection yan. No? So uh, the main idea for analysis or data analytics or BI or business intelligence is really to gain insights from past data, and of course to get decision making, sound decision making for business optimization. So we have three categories for data analytics. We have descriptive, predictive, and prescriptive. When you say descriptive, so what happened and why it happened. When we say predictive, what will happen. That's predictive. What will happen. So we predict, no? And then lastly, we have prescriptive. So also why it happened, no? Bakit siya nangyari, no? And part of the prescriptive is we prescribe something, no? So from what if analysis to prescribe something for a particular context area. So very briefly, descriptive will encompass these different techniques like query, report, statistics, descriptive statistics, visualization using dashboard, which is the last part, data mining technique, what if scenarios, and data query. We have data dashboards, which is we'll discuss that next topic, which is a collection of different parts, no? Like a different objects like table, charts, map, etc. To be able to understand the performance, summarization, metrics, and other short-term forecasts. While predictive is models for past data to predict future, no? And survey data and past purchase behavior. Is this example may help to predict the market share for new product. So techniques for predictive, we have linear time series analysis. You have data mining used for looking for patterns or relationship among elements for large databases, and simulation, which is part of predictive analytics. In prescriptive, so it indicates the best course of action to take, no? So dito yung optimization. So kasi we prescribe, no? So the idea of prescription analytics is parang doktor ba, 'di ba? Nag-prescribe ka ng gamot, no? So yun yung prescription. So prescriptive analytics, no? So there would be optimization models. So these are example like portfolio models for finance, for supply network design models for operations, and like prices markdown models for retail. So, paano malaman na kailan magma-markdown yung prices, kailan natin ipasaka ang prices, kailan natin i-markdown or we do sales. No? That's part of analytics or prescriptive analytics. So, simulation optimization and decision analysis. No? So, these are prescriptive analytics. So part of the analytics is the connection between big data. So we see that it's big data because nowadays there's a lot of data, so we call it big data. No, it's not purely small data, but rather humongous kind of data that need to be managed, processed, and we have four main big data V's. No, volume, how big the data is, velocity, the response time or the movement from data, moving from data storage to other storage, variety. No? So we said earlier for unstructured data, we have many forms like video, audio, text, document, etc., file, no? And veracity, no? So inconsistent, uncertain, incomplete data, which is yung kanina sa data quality, which is we discussed that there's a need for data quality from the data governance, no? So we have to look into this one as part of as an input for analytics. So the spectrum for business analytics is like this, no? So the basic part is the descriptive, which is the competitive advantage of the organization, looking into the y-axis, and the x-axis would be the complexity. While predictive analytics will doing forecasting, data mining, predictive modeling, while the prescriptive is optimization, decision analysis, simulation, etc. So these are looking into the different categories for business analytics. Okay, so in predictive analytics, these are some use cases. No? So example, in financial analytics, so there's prediction over future financial performance, assess for investment portfolios and project, construct financial instrument, etc., etc. So we have other examples like in HR. So the function would be will have mix of set no, necessary for its needs. So there's an analytics to see that this particular human resource is needed, no, or a particular group of human resource would be needed for a particular project or particular operation. So analytics for hiring, no? Providing highest quality talents and providing environment and achieve organizational diversity goals. No? So they say that uh, a good organization would have a diverse range of qualified human resource. No? So uh, dito papasok yung HR analytics to be able to perform analytics or decision for a uh, particular recruitment. So in marketing analytics, no, so one of the use case would be customer behavior. No, so through data and data generated from social media, it will lead to marketing analytics. No, so some examples like web analytics, no, like social media analytics, no, yung sabi ng mga gusto mong tingnan, gusto mong i-like, yun ang din makikita mo. Uh, Optimization, search engine optimization, you have marketing analytics, customer analytics, etc., etc. So these are just example of use cases for marketing analytics. So consumer behaviors, no, like looking into advertising bundles, budgets. You have effective pricing strategies, forecasting demands, improving line management, product line management, and satisfactory and loyalty. No? So dito papasok yung mga ano no, yung mga membership cards, and that membership cards would get a lot of data from to do marketing, no? Doing marketing analytics to know the customers, to know the trend of the customer buying. So also in business, there's a supply chain analytics. So the core advantage is part of delivery, no? So sorting of goods, no? And of course, one of the main function is for better inventory, no, and processing controls, no? So effective stock in management, no? So dapat marami. So it optimized demand forecasting, it optimized to reduce time reaction, profitability of supply chain, and optimize product production planning. So these are example of so from this use case, you have different data mining techniques. So we have association rule mining, clustering, uh, classification, regression, neural network. But these are data mining algorithms, but we'll try to have examples lang, very, very, very little. So the idea of data mining is to be able to mine data, no? To because of the three main events, no? So the explosion of amount data, which is big data, and the ability to electronically warehousing this data, and affordability of computer power to analyze this big huge of data. So the observation would be the variables associated for single entity. And these two main approaches for data mining. You have supervised and unsupervised. We say supervised, it's prediction and classification. So we predict no outcomes from data. While unsupervised are detecting patterns or relationships. So why we call it unsupervised? Because it's in cluster example, clustering, it does put all the data and then you get data from different clusters. So to give you an example, so unsupervised, because the goal is to segment over observation. And some common would be k-means clustering and hierarchical clustering. So the idea for segmentation is that the data will be segmented to different areas, and there would be mathematical model to say that this area is for cluster 2, the green area for cluster 3, and the uh, blue area is for cluster 1. And uh, the the clustering algorithm also discusses different outliers, no, for different data. this is very this is very good, no, to cluster different example for use cases for customer behaviors, no. So what are clusters of different consumers and their purchasing, no? So they say that the shorter the distance between different observation means a good cluster. So in this case, that's zero point 0.5. So cluster 3, it's a good cluster. While cluster 2, it's zero point 0.7. So hindi masyado maganda yung pagka-cluster. And we say that the distance between different centered would be looking into cluster centroids, because there would be mathematical model to to identify the centroid for center for the different clusters. So another example for unsupervised is association. So association is if-then statement. So this is probability of relationship of data items within large data set in various data types, no, or types of databases. So we see that likelihood of certain items being purchased together. This is an example like market basket analysis. So, and we have a priori algorithm. So, example, the data is look like this. No? So, different transactions, different shopping cart, and we shall say that in a market basket analysis, we can say that this particular what uh, if we buying patterns, no, kung kung ano yung frequent buy, malamang may kasama siyang gano'n, no? Example, kung meron siyang jelly tsaka soda, ano kaya ang kanyang bibilhin, no? Puwede milk ba, kasama ba milk or chips, no? So the idea of association rules is to be able to explain the important previously unknown relationships. So example, in a market basket analysis, so kung meron kang three consumers, so magtanong ka is, what do my customers will buy? No? Which products are bought together? So finding associations or correlations between different items. Sabi nga nila dun sa market analysis ng buying patterns ng ano ng kung male ang bibili daw, so ang halos nasa basket niya is beer. So anong kasama ng beer? Sige, any guess? Sige daw. So sige sa chat. So kung lalaki daw ang mag-market sa supermarket, ano daw ang kasama ng beer? Sige daw, what's your answer? Common to siya sa market basket analysis. Hello? Chippy? May brand talaga, cheap. Cheap siguro. What else? Ah, ano pa? Hello? Harvey? Meat, pampulutan. Protein. Protein. Lechon. Okay. So, gigutom na yung noon ko. But, ang sabi nga daw nila, kung male daw, malamang na aday diaper. Kaya nga ano daw, ang sulod lang daw supermarket kay mga nay asawa o nay anak. Gipapalit daw sila. So, the idea here is that the relationship between the beer daw and the diaper. So, yun. No? So, that's market basket analysis. No? So, that's basically the unstructured. Now we'll have predictive. This is structured. So in the structured, there would be observation, and this is supervised learning. So The supervised learning will have continuous estimates and classification. So example is a logistic regression, meaning the same with uh, the same with linear regression, there would be items that would connect to certain classification. Another method is k nearest neighbor or KNN. So other would be this is for prediction for continuous data, while for decision trees, these are just examples. So let me have the KNN. So example, there would be observation over the average balance for the age, bank balance. No? So there would be loan, yes or no, kung pwede ka mag-loan or hindi. No? So there would be a scatter chart for KNN classification. And we say that this is the percent of the class 1 neighbors, this is the percentage over the nearest. So we can say that ang near daw na 0.5, higher than 0.5, we say the classification in 1. Meaning, pwede siya mag-loan. No? So yes or no. 1 for yes, 0 for no. So this is classification means you be able to predict, no, kung pwede ba siya mag-loan or hindi. No? So meron ding average balance estimates or prediction over the k nearest neighbors. Okay, so this is just examples, no, but the idea here is that we know the description of predictive, uh, prescriptive, and supervised and unsupervised. Okay, so that's the last slide, basically for the third topic. No? So to be able to use spreadsheet, particularly Excel, to manipulate data using basic functions and formulas such as graph, filtering, sorting data, and import data. No? So that's one of the competencies. Second is to be able to understand or demonstrate understanding of the importance of using data to make business decisions. So we connect business decision, optimization, performance over analytics. No? And then we demonstrate and understand the business intelligence and data mining. And then we use we a quick introduction about SQL, and then mining large data set to reveal patterns. We haven't done this, but the idea of data mining is equating to big data. And we haven't used, but we understand what's descriptive, predictive, prescriptive, to interpret data, no, and to make recommendations. And we have make some examples. Um, I have some. I have some here. Analytics versus data science, but I'll just give it to you later, no? The YouTube channel for that. Kasi wala na tayong time. We have 30 minutes na lang. Okay. Uh, wala pala tayong questions, no? Wala pala tayong time for questions. Sorry. So far, ano na lista na questions?
Full naman po, sir.
Okay. Very full. Okay, sige. Sige, give me 3 minutes muna, no, to mag-inom lang ako ng water, and then we'll have the last topic. Medyo maliit na lang to. It's just introduction about different visualization tools, and of course, different parts. Are we still okay? Ma'am, good. Okay, sige. 3 minutes. Okay. Okay, I've just posted a Power BI introduction just to give you the idea of what visualization all about. Sige, kindly uh, to cut the monotonous of lecture again, kindly access the YouTube video. That's for 5 minutes. So that's a good introduction about data visualization. No? So there's a lot of tools for data visualization, but the main point for the exam is to be able to understand the concept of different elements of different visualization tools. No? And these different elements are actually the same. No? Halos parehas lang lahat. No? Iba-iba lang siguro ang name. Like for example, in in Excel, that's pivot table, but in Power BI, that's matrix. In Tableau, that's cross tabular. So there's pero halos pare-pareha yan. No? The main objective is to be able to understand these different objects or different contents inside the dashboard. And let me start with the last slide for data visualization for different dashboards. No? So again, the main idea for different BI tools like Power BI for Microsoft, Tableau, you have uh, data, Google Looker, like Excel dashboardings, is to be able to get or to put on reports for different visuals. So this is an example of a dashboard. No? We see different parts. So we have three different charts and three different items here. So we have another dashboard that would have different elements also. No, and a slicer. So these are slicers, or we call it some items slicers or filters. No, so choosing for year, choosing for certain products, certain for different values. So detailed table for a particular three main items or three main charts. No? So the idea is to be able to understand these different charts and what are these charts all about. No? So that's the main objective as examiner for the certification. So let me start. Let me have this different definition. So basically, it's the process of getting or abstracting data to provide visual data representation to enhance users' ability to comprehend the meaningful of data. So the goal is to quickly and efficiently see the data's big picture by identifying trends, patterns, and relationships. So there's a need for data visualizations to zoom in and out, drill down or up, filter. No? One of the advantage for different breed of data visualization tools, and to easier understand the data. So the science for data visualization is doing pattern recognition, spatial awareness, no? So spatial awareness like doing the maps, aesthetics also for creating good visuals for color, size, spacing, color theme, doing the good uh, doing good labels. No? So these are part of aesthetics. And understanding the data is doing the representing to different multiple ways, no? And depending on the user's requirements. So in general, there are two types of data. We have qualitative and quantitative, but of course, um, quantitative would have been good for visualization. So let's have a look for uh, quick look of different components. No? So metrics for in Power BI. So these are cross tabular. No? So these are example of cross tabular. So certain region for certain locations. No? So this is pivot table, no, or cross tabular in uh, cross tab in Tableau. No? So we have a bar and column. So the bar and column represents data with regular rectangular bars and sizes for proportion to magnitude of data values. So good bar and data column should have proper labeling of these different data. Also, line chart is for series, no? For series of data points. No? So these are example of series data over time. No? Also, area is a sister pinsan of line, but of course, putting there's points over the over series, but of course there would be uh, highlighted highlighted the area. So proportion is good. No, proportion visualization is good for pie or donut. No? So a percentage of a whole. No? So donut type or pie. So also there would be cards and multi-row cards. So this used for uh, summarization. So this is a single card, no, and there's a multi-row card, no. So other data. So in this multi-row card, there's region, customer segment, and sum of sales. So in this example, there would be different water for this is different months, no. So January, February, March, April, May, June. So there. Scatter is good for relationships. No, this is good for what? Good for line. This is for linear regression to be able to see patterns and to be able to see. Scatter also good use for clustering. No? So we have data points for x and y axis. Some scalar would be in data mining or data advanced data analytics would have multiple data in a particular point. So maganda din 'yan na to look into. So uh, may mga variations for scatter. We have bubble chart, which is points but meron siyang particular area, and dot plot charts. So slicer is used for filtering, no? So in this case, there's a lot of filtering like buttons, like check marks, and like slicers, no? Or slider, no? So that displays a particular area or particular data of the report. So you have other visuals like funnel to process stages for inflow sequential. You have sequential flow of stages, gauge, no, for context for goals, KPIs, no, towards measurable goals. There's a lot of visuals in the visualizations. But the main questions in the exams is looking into what specific visuals you recommend for a particular context or particular use case. No? So there would be example over comparison. So there would be comparison, good visuals for comparison like bar chart, column charts, no, bullet charts, dot plots, stack bar chart, gauge, and so on and so forth. About change over time, no? Naunguna doon yung line charts, no? KPIs, charts with cards with single, no? Candlesticks, no? And this one, no? Line and clustered and line and stock. No? So Gantt chart also used for overtime for particular processes. How about part to whole, no? So measuring or visualizing different percentage over the whole, no? So we have pie, donut, we have different areas like pyramid, no? You have same with the stock or clustered. No? How about for flow? So flow is used of visuals when you want to display a flow or dynamic relations between measurements. No? So we have the waterfall chart, funnel, a horizontal funnel, no? Stanky, wala ba ka use ani? But these are some of the visuals for flow. No? Also for ranking, no? So looking into ranking is sorting or you sort multi-row card, table or matrix table for detailed. Spatial is for geolocation like map, like shape maps or field maps. And distribution is more on histogram, clustered, and line chart, etc. So how about correlations? No, scatter chart because these are points, and some single items like cards, KPIs, gauge, etc. So these are different look into what kind of visuals to go into comparison, change over time, part of a whole, no, spatial ranking, distribution, correlation, single. And that's the last. I have I have mga ano dito for visualization, for dashboarding for Excel, dashboarding for uh, BI, for dashboarding for Tableau, but wala na tayong time. So uh, I'll just give the materials later. No? So the idea for visualization is you know how to be able to create charts, no, and pre-build visualization. You have to demonstrate what's the meaning or what's the best to communicate results for visualization. So what's the main objective for a particular uh, uh, content or visuals in a particular data. No? To evaluate data visualization options and to select best presentation approach for intended audience. No? And these are use cases for different audience. So how detailed and how not too detailed or summarized data for different ano no, for high level ba siya, no, managerial level or down to operational manager level for detailed. No? And to accelerate decision making using visualization tools or code packages talaga. It's basically in the tools, no? So more or less drag and drop for multi-view dashboard and combine relevant visualization. So that's the end. That's the last part of my slide. So um, I hope you're still okay. No? So yeah, sorry, that's quite full.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. So thank you for your time and for your patience. So I'll give it to I'll just give the ano na the yung mga different
Materials.
materials na in a
Okay,
while.
that,
I'll just
that would
email
be
it.
good, sir.
Sige.
So,
I'll just email it to you, ma'am.
yes, sir.
Uh,
Please
Thank
do.
you, Ma'am Myra,
Thank you
and
din po.
yeah, I'll give it to you. Thank you.
To be messaging po. So, Joshua?
Okay, so thank you so much to our speaker, Doc Aniel V. Victoriano, DIT, for today's session, for sharing his excellence and imparting valuable insights to us about technology and analytics. Indeed, your presence and time greatly contribute to the amount of learning we have possessed, and hopefully we can apply all the lessons we have gained to our future endeavors. Let's give Doc Aniel a big virtual clap. So now, may I request everyone to open their cameras for the photo opportunity.
Yes, please.
Okay, are we all ready? One, two, three, smile. Another one. One, two, three, smile. Okay. Mo katawa pa. Wala ka, madugan.
Joshua, okay na? Are we
Yes
good?
po, ma'am, that's all. Thank you. Okay na
Okay,
po.
so thank you very much again, Sir O'Neill. And guys, no, it was a very long day for most of us. But indeed, very nakakabusog, no? The whole day was really full of information, knowledge, no, learnings for our students. So for those who have contributed this evening, Sir O'Neill, thank you. No? And guys, I hope you will be prepared by for the exam 2, no? Which will be next week, Sunday, next week. So remember, we still have 8 slots to fill up for the scholarship. So I hope there will be takers, no, among you. Okay, so good evening, everyone. See you around. Sir Neil, kita tayo
Thank you.
sa school, sa
Thank
office
you. Yes,
this
ma'am.
week?
I'll just email the resources, ma'am.
Oh, yeah. Sige pa.
Bye bye.
Thank
Thank you. Good evening.